Hello. I have not been live in a week because I was touring around a bit in North Carolina, playing some shows. This beanie is a bit large for my pea-sized head, but anyways, we are continuing with the Shred Showcase with Seth Grey. He's so talented, you guys. His solo was just chef's kiss. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine, thanks, yeah.
Nice! Well, Happy New Year!
And to you. Yeah, Happy New Year.
You had an excellent start to the new year with that incredible solo on the Jared Lab. Bro, that was like, no cap. You really teared that up. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, you had some really awesome note choices, and it was very melodic, but very technical at the same time. So we're going to chat it up. We're going to chat it up a little bit while we got some friends tuning in. What guitar did you use on the collab, for starters? And if you have it on you, feel free to show everybody. And I'm sure people are going to want you to play it live, but no pressure. No pressure.
Yeah, I've got the guitar right here. It's a Strandberg Prog 7 Black. I've had this guitar for about 2 years now, and I've rarely touched another one now I've got it. I love the Endure neck on this. It's very comfortable, fits into my hand very well. It's got, the tuning stability is the best I've ever had on a guitar. And the fretboard radius is very flat, so I can get the action extremely low. It's they're pretty much on the frets, the strings. It's nearly on the frets.
Yeah, Strandbergs are so awesome for that reason specifically. Well, there's a lot of reasons why they're awesome. But yeah, they're so easy to set up, and well, if you know how to set them up, I guess. But they're also they stay in tune forever.
Yeah.
You forever ever have to tune them, which is great once you got that set. But awesome guitar, really just great tone, great everything. So we're going to talk about your gear too in a moment here, after we talk about your writing process for your solo. How did you write it? How did you come up with such great riffs? And then what rigs or plugins did you use? Sorry, fighting a little sinus infection, you guys.
Sure. So Jared sent us several different options for backing tracks, but also just the drums. So I took a couple of different drum backing tracks and essentially cut them up to form a kind of structured solo, because I wanted to give my solo a bit of structure to it, so it built to a climax about halfway through. And then from there, I improvised some polychords on the piano until I had something I was happy with for the first half. So I wanted to build some tension, about heading towards halfway through. And then I wanted to do something that was more upbeat and metalcore for the second half. So I, played a riff that I felt fitted okay with the drums, then added a harmony to that. And then in terms of the leads, I then came up with some scales I thought would fit well with the polychords, and then just listened to the track on repeat up until I had something in my head that I was happy with, and then figured out how to play it out on the guitar. And I guess that was the writing process, really.
Dope. Super cool. So like what was your DAW, or what's your go-to? Do you use Cubase, or?
I always use Logic actually myself. Yeah, I learned that at secondary school and have never switched since then. I just find it very intuitive to use, and it does everything I need it to.
Cool. Yeah, I've actually never used Logic before, but I don't think I've had somebody on these interviews so far that has used Logic. So that's dope. Usually it's been Cubase or something like that, but that's really cool. It's really cool to see everybody's gear preferences and what they be up to. I see somebody named Warren said polychords for life.
Yeah.
Guy. I'm a fellow musician as well. I would not consider myself super technical. So to anybody that may be watching that's kind of trying to get up to your level in terms of maybe music theory or writing, what is your advice to them when it comes to using those polychords and writing a top tier solo?
I think in terms of the polychords, for me, it's just been about ear training, really. I've just done tons of relative pitch training up until I could recognize the different polychords by ear. And then that way, when I heard something over the drums that I wanted, I could play it on the piano without really having to think about it too much, and therefore I could improvise out the backing track, without as much trouble as I would have had otherwise. But I think, and then in terms of theory, I spent a lot of time studying classical harmony, and then kind of playing that on the piano up until I could kind of hear it in my head when I read the music, and that's really helped with the writing of the backing track, I think. And then in terms of the lead parts, I've just tried to learn and apply lots of different types of scale on top of the polychord, so I can play over the stuff I write, which is quite harmonically dense.
Right. Did you go to college for like classical music, or are you just a self-taught person, like tabs, YouTube?
I've never been to music college, but I have worked with a classical composer, Matthew Taylor, here in the UK, who taught me harmony, and I'm studying orchestration with him at the moment, and that's been invaluable in terms of learning the theory.
So dope, honestly. You're gonna get like such an advantage through that, and maybe you could even write cinematic music sometime for
Maybe
like
I'd love to do that, yeah.
Netflix show, or maybe like write some shreddy riffs for like Stranger Things or whatever. That's cool. Kind of speak that into existence. Hey, our friend Luke is saying hello.
Hi, Luke.
Good. So good to see ya. So, now that the Jared Dines collab has been released, which we're going to continue to talk on, what can listeners expect from you as far as projects go, or are you just kind of keeping it low key? Just going to keep posting like riff videos and stuff like that, or are you in a band?
No, I work as a solo artist, but I'm currently halfway through releasing my second EP. I've got 2 tracks out, and I've got 2 to go, so I've got a more cinematic track, funnily enough, that I'm going to release. I'm just finishing off editing the video for that in the moment, and I have my take on a romantic style sonata for guitar and piano. I also have a fugue that I'm currently considering adding to that EP, but I'm not entirely sure yet. I'm figuring out how to get that to work with maybe 3 or 4 guitars, but with the intonation of the guitar, I'm trying to figure out how to get that to sound harmonious, because things like the major thirds don't quite work at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Dang, that is so cool though. I love that you're working on your own original music, but you have such a versatile catalog when it comes to your brain and the music that you love. You got the classical influence, you're working on orchestral stuff. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Yeah. And alongside the, like you said, very dense, very theory-based, shreddy licks. Just a lot of different influences. So speaking of your influences specifically, if you could pick one influence from the classical music genre and one influence from the metalcore genre, who would they be?
That's really hard. Just to pick one. I guess in terms of classical, something I've been listening through quite a lot of recently is Lily Boulanger. Is an absolutely incredible composer from around the early 20th century. Very nice use of orchestration, and again more of the harmonically dense chords. That's been a massive influence in recent times anyway. But there are lots of classical composers that I love listening to. I mean, you can't really say you write classical music without being influenced by Bach, for example. I love his music. But yeah, it's too many to name. And in terms of metal, that's even harder, really. I guess if I had to name one, I'd probably have to say Angel Vivaldi. Really enjoy his music. Yeah, really great sense of melody, and amazing. Just absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. Have you seen his collaboration with Cole Rolland that he did?
Yeah, Vivaldi Storm. That
is one of my all-time favorites, yo. I remember like trying to learn that a little tiny bit, and I was like, this is gonna have to wait because I'm gonna give this like my full attention here.
Yeah, it's not easy, especially that sweep picking solo he does about halfway through.
I mean, Angel is just very, very, very fluent when it comes to not only melody, but like you said, the sweeps and just dancing while he plays. Even Strauss collab, I think it was called Serotonin. Correct me if I'm wrong. Dopamine.
Yeah, right. Serotonin's what he's got. Yeah, it does with Nita Strauss, and it's got the choreographed dance in the club. Yeah, yeah.
Dude,
I'm
that's
put off.
like, I mean, like singing and dancing would be hard enough, but playing guitar, like full routine while you're, you know, dancing, that's pretty epic. So shout out to Angel for sure. So like, what record do you have on repeat right now? And I guess, what band are you drawing some inspiration from? If you're a band listener, they can be instrumental too, like Polyphia, stuff like that.
Well, I guess albums. I've been listening through quite a few albums recently. I guess, you know, one I've been really enjoying is Truth in Shredding, from the Mark Varney project, which has got Holdsworth and Gambale on. That's got, you know, some absolutely fantastic fusion playing. Particularly, you know, especially I love Holdsworth's solo on the first song, Rocks. You know, it's absolutely incredible. I've also been listening through, more Holdsworth. The 16 Men of Tame is on repeat at the moment, especially 0274 and the Drums Were Yellow, in particular tracks from there. And then I guess what else? I guess I've been listening through the Goldberg variations by Barker a fair amount recently. And then in terms of more metal, I guess I haven't been listening through so much metal recently, mostly classical and fusion, to be honest with you. I guess another one would be the Art of Fugue by Barker, has been on a lot. Those are the main ones I've been listening to over Christmas.
Yeah, hey, nothing against that. I love that. The fact that so many people I've interviewed so far, interestingly enough, have said they're not really listening to metal right now. Pulling inspiration from the classical stuff, like Bach, or fusion, synthwave, you know, pop, hip-hop.
Yeah.
It's so awesome, you know. We're not closed. A lot of us are not closed-minded when it comes to hearing, taking inspiration from everybody.
Yeah, I think for me the Shred collab has been a really nice way back into doing more of the Mess and the Shred stuff, because I had been listening through a lot of fusion and classical, but now I'm definitely really enjoying watching and listening to a lot of Shred players on Instagram again.
That's so cool. That's nice. Maybe if you could collab with a few people on the JD Shred collab.
Yeah.
Who do you out? Is there anybody that you would want to collab with from that video?
I mean, I enjoyed the whole thing so much. It's really hard to narrow it down to even a few. It was unbelievably good. But yeah, I mean, just anyone from the collab, I can't really narrow it down.
No.
Yeah, anyone from the collab is just so good.
Yeah, after you, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. I'm gonna have to check, but Luca Stringinoli? Probably wrong.
Yeah, I'm not sure the pronunciation myself, but yeah.
Yeah, and then from Maine, I'm going to be interviewing him. So he's really cool too.
Amazing, yeah.
Lots of cool players, but let's see. I really don't want to end this too short or too quickly here, because we do have some pals rolling in. If anybody here has a question for Seth, definitely be sure to drop it in the comments below, or we have a questions tab. But I mean, I'm going to ask you just maybe 2 or 3 more while we're waiting on some rolling in. How do you like your action setup? I know you talked about this in the beginning a little bit, with it being like really low. And for people who are bad at setting up their own guitars, like myself, what's your advice?
Okay, my action is basically as low as I can possibly get it without buzz. I mean, yeah, it's about 0.5 mils, I think, or something. Yeah, when I last measured it. I mean, it might have changed a bit given the cold weather, but it's ridiculously low. Just because I find that it just makes legato just easier, and I'd rather take the path of lowest resistance when it comes to that kind of thing. And I guess in terms of setting it up, I think the easiest way of setting up the action for me is I find maybe a piece of card that's about the right thickness for the action. I always try and keep the action around that thickness at all times, so it's consistent. Because that means I'm not trying to guess how I set the action up all the time. And of course, you can get all of the measurement tools, but I find that just having, I think I use like a business card is normally about the right thickness for me personally.
Yeah, I know the card trick. Yeah, that's definitely something that comes in handy. But it takes a certain kind of finesse. Definitely does. It always sucks if you try to adjust your action and then there's more buzz than before.
Yeah.
But you know, like you live and you learn. I do see we had somebody trying to join. They might have clicked the wrong tab here. But yes, we do have a questions tab. Feel free to ask Seth here a questione before he hits the road, probably to shred or do something really cool. But what are your top 3 favorite guitar brands besides Strand? That doesn't count.
Okay, I can't say Strandberg. Strandberg is absolutely my favorite guitar brand.
I can't remember if you're endorsed or not.
No, I'm not. I'm not endorsed now. No.
Maybe
would love to do that.
You will be after this collab. You never know.
You never know. Other than Strandberg, I mean, you know, I don't have like a huge guitar collection or anything, so I can't really speak for, you know, too many brands. But out of the ones I've played, I mean, I've got a Fender Strat that I, you know, played when I was a lot younger.
Yeah.
I've always loved playing that. Yeah, and it's especially, you know, it's very versatile is what I like about it, especially, I guess.
Really is.
Well, I'm just thinking what else I would play. I mean, I also have a Chapman 8-string is the other guitar I play. You know, so I really like that guitar as well. Whenever I need anything for 8 strings, that always does the job. And other guitar brands. I mean, it's quite hard to narrow it down. I'm not really sure. I guess I don't really have enough experience playing them.
Oh, we got someone from, somebody says Indonesian here, guys, with a smiley. Hello. Hello. How are you doing? I'm in New York. And where are you from again? Like, what part of?
So I'm from the UK, and I'm in a county called Surrey. You know, about 2-hour drive from London or so.
Nice. Really cool. Do you play any live shows with your Strandberg?
I haven't played any live shows in a while. I mean, I guess like around a year ago, you know, in the last year or so, I've done some musicals and that kind of stuff. I haven't played as a solo act. I'd love to in the future, but I don't have any plans as of now. But it would be really great to do some.
That would be cool. I think, you know, that'd be kind of a sick time to line some stuff up if you do feel like it.
Yeah.
You know, maybe line up together of some of the shredders. We do have a question, and this seems to be a trend with Mr. Jerial. He tends to come on and he asks this question, did the shredders here, is Dave Mustaine God?
Well, I don't think I can objectively say that one player is the best or another, because there are so many great players nowadays and such a wide range of different styles. But he's certainly been, you know, a major influence on any metal guitarist's playing. So in that regard, I guess you could say so.
Right. Very cool, very cool. Well, you guys, we do appreciate you tuning in with Seth Grey here for the JD Shred Collab interview. So thank you for coming on and for chatting about your solo and all of that good stuff.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Definitely stay in touch. You're a super talented dude. I'm sure you got a lot of exciting stuff and a lot of success coming.
Thank you.
For sure. Yep, Jerry'll saying goodbye.
Bye.
Take care.